Hi, how are you? Here we go. I mean, who doesn't love a nice coffee in the sunshine? I know I do, and this cold brew is going to knock your socks off. It is rich, it is strong, it is laced with cinnamon and cardamom, and it takes minutes to make and will sit in your fridge for a week, ready for whenever you need a caffeine hit. It is concentrated like a shot of espresso over ice. It knocks your socks off. As my grandfather used to say, put hairs on your chest. Today's version of cold brew is inspired by my friend Adina Sussman from her book Sababa. I always used to put cinnamon in my coffee. She added cardamom and I was like, why didn't I think of that too? So this has cinnamon and cardamom in it to infuse and just marry up with the coffee flavour, which makes it even more unctuous, delicious and special. Let's make it. Honestly, this couldn't be simpler. You're going to take some cafetiere ground coffee, important that it's cafetiere grind, not espresso grind, which is too fine, and you'll end up with grinds in your mouth, which is just the worst. I make mine in a French press. This is a 4 cup, it's equivalent to this jug holds about 1 litre of water. This is great if you have one because you literally plunge and go after it's soaked. If you don't have one, you can still make it in either a jar or a bottle. These are both 1 litre. So you add 150 grams of your cafetiere grind into here and you top it up with cold water. You add your cinnamon stick and some cardamom pods. I like to crush mine between my hands a little bit, but you don't have to. Cover it, let it sit for 12 to 24 hours, and then strain or plunge, pour into a jug and let it sit in the fridge. If, like me, you take your own coffee on holiday and you're in an Airbnb and you don't even have a scale, think 1/3 coffee, 2/3 water. It'll give you just about the same ratio. And then you've got your good coffee while you're away. No worries. It's gonna be muddy. Muddy, muddy as fuck. Give it a good stir. Do not be tempted to plunge now. This is when the magic happens, when the cold water and the coffee and the cinnamon, the cardamom all hang out together for between 12 and 24 hours. Personally, about 14 to 16 hours is a sweet spot. I'm gonna cover it. Got some paper towel and an old elastic band. I love asparagus season. Got a kitchen full of elastic bands. I'm gonna let this sit on my countertop, not in the fridge, until it's ready. Luckily for us, here's some I made earlier. So I've made it 2 ways so that everyone can feel included, so that no one has any excuse not to make this. Got my trusted cocktail stirrer here. You'll see, actually, it's turned super even sludgier than it looked like it was going to. So that is, got to give it a little stir around. So I'm going to dig into the top. I'm actually going to fish out the cinnamon stick because it will prohibit the plunge. And I'm going to give it a stir. And then I'm going to very, very carefully, should really have a board here. Everything's going to be a bit messy, never mind. I should really, you've got to do this very, very, very slowly so it doesn't explode. I'm going to pour it into here. Look at that. So again, slightly sludgy. I'm going to fish out, luckily for me the cinnamon stick is hanging out on the top here. So I'm just going to give it a good stir around. If you don't have a cafetiere, you take a cheesecloth and you put it over a fine mesh sieve and you pour the liquid. I do it into a jug so that I can then pour it easily into something else. Watch it straining in, can you see? Look at that, and just squeeze it out. Just gonna get rid of this, pour this in a jug and make myself a drink. This concoction does come with a warning. It is really strong. You don't need very much at all. Just that amount. I like to top mine up with some milk, but if you prefer it black, I would add a little bit of water, or please don't come back to me because you're having palpitations. There we have it. Cheers. Keep following along for more fun in the kitchen. Subscribe here.